I'm so excited about this research project. And my name is Susy Eddleman, and I'm going to jump right into it because I have a lot to say about this topic. Well, in light of the declining enrollment and the disproportionate impact of school closures on marginalized communities, it is imperative that we recognize the urgency of this issue and take proactive measures to address it by advocating for policies that prioritize equity in education and engaging in collaborative efforts. We can work towards ensuring that every student has access to quality education and no communities left behind. And my interest in this topic was really sparked when we were at Capitol Hill and Assembly Member McKinnon mentioned about the consolidation of schools and school closures. I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? And as many of you guys know, I'm from Europe, and like that is unheard of in Europe, and that some neighborhoods will not have the quality education that they deserve. And I truly believe that every child should receive the same quality education everyone else. Um, so school closures have far-reaching implications that affect not just students and educators, but the entire community. And I'm a true believer of that. Like, I'm thinking like, why would we close schools? This will affect the future of our country. This will affect our children, right? And the consequences of closure extend beyond the classroom, and I truly believe that. And it impacts neighborhoods, local economies, and the social fabric of communities. For instance, closures often lead to overcrowded classrooms in remaining schools. Like, how can we have quality educations if the schools are overcrowded, compromising the quality of education for all students? And additionally, limited resources may further strain educational outcomes and hinder opportunities for students. And yeah, like one plus one is two for me, ultimately affecting the future workforce and social well-being. So, well, in this research we will be discussing a few different things. We will first examine the root causes contributing to the plummeting school enrollment. Then we will explore the wide ranging consequences of closures. We will elaborate on the insight gained from in the individuals that I was able to interview. I had an amazing interview with Jeannie Min Young. She's the director of policy analysis at PACE. I was able to do email interview with Howard Bloom that wrote an article about the LAUSD seeing such a rapid decline of school enrollment and the consolidation that was taking place, that actually Assembly Member McKinnon talked about at the Capitol Hill. Also, my brief moment that I was able to talk to Assembly Member McKinnon. Although I had a big question, she gave me like a minor answer, but that did it. I tried to email her at like had like a follow-up email. She has not respond to me. So I also want to talk about that as well. Well, the different problems, because we have a problem. Schools are closing. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you Google school closures, declining enrollment, every state, every city is dealing with this problem. So the question is, why is this all happening? Well, declining enrollment, and one significant cause that drives school closure is a decline in student enrollment. And across California, according to the policy analysis for California education PACE, enrollment in California public schools has decreased with 6%, but not just California. If you research, I wish we could talk about all the different cities, but if you do your research, you will see it's not just California. This decline is attributed to various factors, including falling birth rates, out of state migrations, shifting immigration patterns. As a result, district face financial strain due to reduced funding based on average daily attendance rate. So they have to close the schools, they have to consolidate, they have to do something different because the amount of students doesn't match up with the amount of money they're receiving per child. There is also financial sustainability of under enrolled schools poses a significant challenge for school district because there's fixed costs associated with operating school sites such as maintenance, utilities, and staffing. Like there's not enough money flowing through, so there's not an upkeep of the different buildings and the staff. So we see just like really a challenge for school district in this case. Another critical factor contribute to school closure is the intersection of racial disparities and historical context, and research has indicated that schools serving higher proportion for black students are at increased risk of closure even after controlling for conventional reasons such as enrollment declines and academic performance. And this racial disproportionality is situated with the broader historical context. And I have a few stats here that we see it's not just greater LA, it's in a lot of different cities. And what are the effects that we see? Closing schools disproportionately affect minority neighborhoods. And if you look at it, the closure of school disproportionately affects Black and Hispanic students, exacerbating inequalities. And this is where we've seen the gap taking place. So it's really, really, like, really sad. And but also in communities like Kenner, Louisiana, like different, like I had like a few different testimonies here that we see the effects of it. Also, we see that will tear communities apart. Article where it said Inglewood shuts down school. Parents say Ackman didn't think this through because school is not just a place for education, but it's a hub. Like I wrote down, it's a hub for social connections. And here we see I had my interview with expert Jeannie Mayung, and honestly, she was so down to earth. Like any question, she's like, you can ask me any follow up question for your research. And one of the things that I would like to highlight in this presentation is that she's working on different programs, and at this moment, she's working on a program. It's called I Am Pilot, and for school improvement and autonomy and the decision making for in classes have been given to educators. And it's like it's a pilot right now, so they're working on it, so that's quite interesting. You can read in it right here. Also, I had a brief moment with Assembly Member McKinner in the hallway, and I asked her the famous question: why are schools why are schools closing? And then she said there's a decline of enrollment. Real simple. Then I had a meal interview with Howard Bloom, and I asked him again the different question: why how is it impacting our society? And for my personal interview with Howard Bloom, it became evident that lower birth rates, like how we said it, among second generation Americans are just way lower. um there's political obstacles, and this is like I learned this even in my interview with Ginny Mee Young. There is a different ideological difference about private goods, that is school private good or public goods. It's so interesting. The funding priorities, there is not accountability measures where monies were given to school districts and they didn't fulfill what they needed to fulfill. So I wrote a few things about that. There's what are solutions to the problem? We need to implement equity centered decision making policies by adopting an equity impact analysis framework where we hold school district, there's an accountability structure that we put on. Also, we need community engagement and collaboration, involve parents, educators, community leaders, and local stakeholders in discussion about the future of school. Well, to close, there's a call to action. We need to do something about this problem. I am driven by this, and more than ever, it's very important we work together to make sure that all students have a good education. And in the words of Tupac, I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. Let us be the spark that ignites the change, the path towards a brighter future for the generations to come. This is my presentation. Bye bye.